Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Tiff and Tony Show. We appreciate you tuning in with us today. We have another interview lined up with a professional soccer player and you won't want to miss it, so let's go check it out.
Hello and welcome back to the Tiff and Tony Show. We've got an amazing guest with us this morning, Eric. He's a professional soccer player, plays down in San Diego for the San Diego Loyal. So we will get to talk to Eric in just a bit. But Tiff, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I am good. It's a nice sunny Thursday morning. How are you, Tony?
Yes, I'm wonderful. Thank you very much. So, Eric, welcome to the Tiff and Tony Show.
Well, thank you guys, and thanks for having me, and good morning. I've heard all about the program and everything, so I was so excited to come on and jump on the Zoom with you guys, so I'm excited.
So we have been continuing this conversation about labels, put on us externally, labels that we may put on ourselves, this internal narrative and messages that we send ourselves. So we kind of want to just talk to you about that a little bit. What are some labels that either you know that you have right now? It could be something like you're shy, you're athletic, you're the smart one, anything along those lines that you notice that you either wear now or that you've worn in the past, and how it felt for you having that on you, whether or not it was someone else or yourself that put it on you.
Today, right now, I'm more of a leader type, outspoken, willingness to win and work hard. I'm a very hard worker on the field. And going back to when I was younger, when I was a kid, it was more of shyness. I didn't want to step up to be outspoken and taking that leader role.
Can you pinpoint anything that you can see that might have helped you make that change?
When I was young, there was a game for me to get out of my comfort zone, and the shyness game. It was one of those things where I was blindfolded, and my soccer team was in a line, and I had another guy with me, and he was the one only allowed to move the players around, and me blindfolded was me to speak, and we had to go from who's the oldest to the youngest. And so I think it was one of those cool things that my coach wanted me to come out and started speaking more and become more of a leader. That little game, it stuck with me for a really long time, and it got me prepared.
That's a huge little moment, because you now in your adulthood remember a game that you played when you were younger that helped you learn communication and sort of make those shifts from, oh, I'm shy, to actually there's more to me than that.
There's a couple of things that you brought up, which was someone else saw something in you that you didn't know about, which is important. We've talked about this in the past. Sometimes it's that external coach, teacher, parent that sees something in you that you're like, I'm not a leader, I'm shy. Like, you're using that label of shyness, that internal narrative, to hide behind and keep you safe. But your coach saw something in you that was like, no, I see something bigger and better in you, and I'm going to work hard to pull that out of you. And sometimes it's the external person then sits there and says, okay, now I'm stepping in and learning this new role and this new label. And it's not a transition. I've got a label on right now. It's not like we can just rip it off and then put a new one back on. It's actually a process that we have to go through, and it takes a little time to get there. But it's just like you in soccer. You don't step onto a field and just play the game of soccer. You've had to practice and work really hard at your skill and your ability to get to where you are today. It's exactly the same thing with labels and internal narratives and changing them to be positive. It's a practice.
No, I definitely agree. And it was one of those things where, like you said, someone saw something in me.
So as a leader, how do you help people see the labels they're wearing or their internal narrative that they're talking to themselves about, the ones that are holding them back? How do you actually talk to them about that and get them to change for the positive?
I see the young kids have the same problem that I had. And so when I see something within me, I go up to them and maybe put a hand around them, and encourage them. Hey, listen, like, we need to hear you just a little bit more. Like, just don't be afraid, even though you're a young kid or a rookie, it's okay to speak.
So the idea of that, wrapping that up, is when you see something in someone, the best way to get it out of them is come alongside them, recognize it, and then encourage them for what you see in them. And those little whispers in their ear helps them change their internal narrative, which in turn helps them change their labels and live up to a new and more positive label. I like that.
So name one goal that you have for your life that maybe you haven't achieved yet, and one person you can reach out to support getting you there. And this goes along with having other people recognize things in us and knowing that we need to reach out for support.
My goal is to try new things outside of soccer, right? So I guess it's something different than what I'm comfortable with. I am a little nervous going and making that jump. I think my mom is a great one for me, because she always seen soccer as great, but the life outside of soccer is a bigger tool. Even with education, she'd always tell me to do school, and then soccer was just something that would get me to do my schooling. I like to teach as well. And I just started teaching soccer and coaching for the very first time, U17 girls, and that for me was great. And so I wanted to. One of my goals is to give back to the community that the journey that I have, and give it back. And also, just like you guys, how you guys are playing the game in a way which is super cool, but then also stopping it and teaching the life lessons on something like that.
It's really sweet that you have your mom in your life that can be someone that sees a bigger picture.
Well, two questions that I have to wrap this up. You play for arguably one of the best American players that the world's seen. What's it like playing for Landon Donovan?
Landon is, when I was a little kid, I would never thought I would play against him, or now he's my coach and stuff like that. It's so great to be around someone that's been so successful in doing the game. The little things that I get while him being a coach is just picking his brain out just a little bit in the things that he just sees that I sometimes never saw. The way he moves the ball, or the way where the ball's on the other side, how differently can you move? But besides the soccer point, I really got to know him as a person, and he's very, he's a player or a coach that really cares about, not just soccer, but just outside of soccer and who you are as a person. He's teaching us models of being very compassionate, very competitive, being loyal. Those little things are all like on our team's goal. We know Landon Donovan as being the best, but it was really nice to see the different side of things from him and seeing him as a person.
Awesome. Love that. Tiffany, anything else from you?
I just want to thank Eric. It has been so great meeting you, getting to know you, and thank you for wanting to be on our show.
No, of course. I think this is great, guys, and thank you for having me. So I'll keep following, and hope you guys are all staying safe and healthy.
Thanks for joining us today for this week's episode of the Tiff and Tony Show. One of the best ways that you can support us is by liking and sharing this video with your friends on social media. And if you like what you see and want to see more of it, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel in the links below. And with that, we'll see you right back here next Monday.